Tonight on the Black Channel, because there appears to be some confusion out there about who's really for black people and who isn't, the Black Channel is live. Unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back to the home, the haven, the stronghold, and the everlasting superfortress of intelligent black thought. We are the Black Media, and this is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the voice of Black America, the Black Authority, broadcasting to you live from the only historically black college and university or higher education and learning in the cosmos. You are, of course, welcome to join us. And join us you shall, because on tonight's program here, I'm just letting you know right now that I'm kind of fully cocked over here. You know, I'm not going to start where you think I'm going to start at. I'm not actually going to start where you are supposing I'm going to start at. I'm actually going to be starting in a slightly different area here. Among other news, boy, I'm telling you, if you want to know who's against reparations, do you notice that your historically black colleges and universities, which should be the premier leading think tanks in this matter, when you talk about a Brandeis University or a Columbia University, these are premier centers for the Jewish community, memorializing the Holocaust and the Jewish experience. And yet your HBCUs are not the leading places or the trailblazing institutions when it comes to promoting black people's interests. As a matter of fact, I would say they're at the back of the pack, but that would be putting them too far ahead because they're not actually doing anything. Well, case in point here, Jim Crow Joe Biden was doing the commencement here at Howard University. And I'll bring this up because I want you all to be aware of exactly why it is that we run into the kind of trouble that we do. I want you to be aware of exactly why it is that we keep encountering the problems that we do. And I want to start tonight with Howard University. I'm going to start there, but I promise you I will not be ending there. This is Joe Biden and a couple of his remarks at Howard University.
We know that American history has not always been a fairy tale. From the start, it's been a constant push and pull for more than 240 years between the best of us, the American ideal that we're all created equal, and the worst of us, the harsh reality that racism has long torn us apart. It's a battle that's never really over. But on the best days, enough of us have the guts and the hearts to stand up for the best in us, to choose love over hate, unity over disunion, progress over retreat, to stand up against the poison of white supremacy, as I did my inaugural address, to single out as the most dangerous terrorist threat to our homeland is white supremacy. We can finally resolve those ongoing questions about who we are as a nation. That puts strength of our diversity at the center of American life. The future that celebrates and learns from history. A future for all Americans. A future I see you leading, and I'm not, again, exaggerating. You are going to be leading it. Again, let's be clear. There are those that don't see you and don't want this future. There are those who demonize and pit people against one another. And there are those who do anything and everything, no matter how desperate or immoral, to hold on to power. And that's never going to be an easy battle. But I know this, the oldest, most sinister forces may believe they'll determine America's future, but they are wrong. We will determine America's future.
Easy, stomach. Easy. Try to keep yourself where you're supposed to be. No belly flops, back flips, or somersaults, please. Easy, stomach. Well, that is one set of comments there. That is one set of commentary. And here is another one here.
In January 2021, I stood in the U.S. Capitol to be inaugurated as President of the United States. Just days before, on that very spot, a violent insurrection took place, a dagger at the throat of democracy. For the first time in our history, an attempt to stop the peaceful transfer of power in this country. And they failed. Our democracy held. Again, hope prevailed. And this time, I was standing with a black woman about to take a 2-mile procession down Pennsylvania Avenue as President and Vice President of the United States of America. And who was marching alongside her? The Howard University Marching Band in lockstep in solidarity. You were.
And this, if I could sum up why it is that we have had the difficulties that we have had all this time, if I could summarize it in one statement, this is basically it. He sat there and told you that the zenith, the apex, the pinnacle of what we should be expecting is that when his Asian vice president, the Asian vice president, because before he wanted to split for the black vote, she wasn't black, she was Asian. Folks in California, she was Asian before she wanted to run for vice president. Then suddenly she became black. But she has no black support among Asians. She only has Asian support to the extent they can use her. So Joe Biden is sitting here saying something that he would never say in front of another audience here, that you should be on your feet and clapping because Kamala Harris was there. And you know who was there? The Howard University Marching Band. That's your claim to fame. That's the accolade that you're giving here. The Howard University Marching Band was right there. Let me go ahead and play it again so we can go ahead and terminally offend you.
I was held. Again, hope prevailed. And this time, I was standing with a black woman about to take a 2-mile procession down Pennsylvania Avenue as President and Vice President of the United States of America. And who was marching alongside her? The Howard University Marching Band in lockstep in solidarity.
Most of whom cannot afford the dorms, cannot afford where they live, and will not be getting any socioeconomic progress out of this. But you got to take a selfie with the first Asian female vice president of the United States. You got to take a selfie with her. More of this symbolic gestures. This is how seriously they take this. This is how serious it is to them. And so I've got to sit here and ask myself exactly what's going on here. Exactly whose side are they on, and how in the hell is it that this can happen at Howard University in this day and age? And then it came to me. I realized what was really going on. Before we get started here tonight, if you all agree with me that there is no part of black empowerment that includes a marching band, give me the music emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. It's over 3,000 people in here right now in just the first 9 minutes of the program. If you agree with me that it ain't about no marching band, give me the music emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button. So I was asking myself, how in the world do we get here? How in the world could this happen? And then I asked myself a different question. What's in it for them? What is in it for them? Because if you wouldn't treat a Republican president this way, and Joe Biden has behaved as a Republican for the majority of his political career, then why in the world is it you doing these little somersaults and backflips for him? What in the world are you getting out of it? It's not like Howard University has the nicest rooms, nicest dorms, biggest endowment. It's not like there's some hot spot for folks to go to here. And of course, we're going into an election year. Of course, we're going into an election year, so for him to do it next year would be a little bit too on the nose. But of course, we've gotten past the midterms, so now he wants to go into an election year. So he realizes his black support is super weak. As you all saw that I posted on my Twitter page, his black support is terrible. Washington Examiner, Biden sees a 30-point drop in approval from black voters. It ain't looking so great out there right now. So what's in it for him? He's trying to get his black support up, which is what we always promised you. Trying to get his black support up. And then you go see this. This is from howard.edu. President Joseph R. Biden inspires hope at Howard University commencement. Hope in what, damn it? Folks, we've been on this train 20 years ago. Hope? What the hell is that? Hope and change. A place called Hope. Remember Bill Clinton? A place called Hope. Black folk, what in the hell does that mean? When they go to Asians, do they promise hope? Did they promise Asians hope? Hell no, they promised them hate. Hate crime legislation. They didn't promise Asians hope. They promised them hate. As in hate crimes legislation. But they come to us, and all of a sudden it's about hope. What in the hell does that mean? Can someone define for me the political definition of hope? Because I know the political definition of hate crime, and I know the political definition of policy. I know the political definition of Second Amendment and First Amendment. I don't know what in the world is the political definition of hope. What part of political policy defines what quote unquote hope is? When tell me the piece of legislation that promises you hope. Because I want to know if there's a piece of political legislation that is going to be assuring us that we're going to get hope. I want to know exactly what it is I'm going to be getting. And so far, nobody's told me what it is. So it looks like hope is another one of these intangible, invisible, untouchable, symbolic gestures that doesn't actually mean anything. Because when they talk to Asians, Jewish community, white community, Arab community, Latino community, they don't go and make a whole damn speech about hope. Let me go ahead and make y'all a little more sick here. Because this was written just yesterday by Howard University. Oh, they're just so happy with themselves over there at Howard University. Dateline, Washington, President Joseph R. Biden Jr. Really? Y'all got to understand, boot-licking niggas. Oh, I said it. Oh, I really did say it. Boot-licking niggas sure do love their titles, don't they? They're giving Joe Biden a title that doesn't even mean nothing. President Joseph R. Biden Jr. As if there was a President Joseph R. Biden Sr. Hello. They pouring it on thick. You can see just how slavishly devoted they are. Pouring it on thick. Who else is calling him Joseph R. Biden Jr.? Well, we wouldn't want White Daddy to have his feet uncomfortable as he hands us his boots to lick. President Joseph R. Biden Jr. served as the commencement speaker for Howard's 155th commencement ceremony on May 13th at the Capital One Arena. Biden was conferred an honorary doctorate of humane letters. What in the flip-flopping, deep fat fried hell is that? What in the world is that? A doctorate of humane letters? Which degree program is that? Which doctoral program is that? Just before delivering remarks, this year Howard University awarded 1,852 degrees, and it hasn't translated into 1,852 economically empowered individuals who are movers and shapers and making things pop and happen anywhere. Howard University President Wayne A.I. Frederick, M.D., M.B.A. Oh, hell. Who in the hell wrote this? Brittany Baylor. Okay, Brittany, baby, you doing too much. You doing the most right now. You are doing it all. She is doing a hell of a whole lot right now, ain't she? She's doing a lot. She's doing a lot. I wonder who are the other candidates that she beat out to get this little website blog job. Howard University President Wayne A.I. Frederick, M.D., M.B.A. Reminds me of that old Tom Joyner skit. This is the Reverend Brother Pastor Deacon Dr. Doug. It is the Honorable Reverend Dr. Pastor Deacon Dr. Doug. Reverend Brother Pastor Deacon Dr. Doug, I'm here officiating. That's what that reminds me of. You throwing all these letters up here and whatnot. Doesn't matter if he's incompetent, but okay. Howard University President Wayne A.I. Frederick, M.D., M.B.A. hailed the graduating class for their academic success and success that lies in their futures. Quote, an even brighter future lies ahead for our people and our university, and it is all because of this year's graduating class. In your quiet moments, I encourage you to reflect on our university's motto and your personal mission, said Frederick. To persevere under our current global conditions requires more than ambition and personal will. It necessitates a deep understanding of ourselves and the world around us. As you close this chapter of your soon-to-be alma mater, I hope that your education has awakened in you a purpose that will carry you forward in life. Didn't hear nothing about hope in there, except to say, I hope your education that you paid us for. But he's not talking about their hope going forward. Chairman of the Howard University Board of Trustees, Lawrence C. Morse, recognized the 50th anniversary classes of 1971, 1972, and 1973, along with this year's graduating class. So you can't just graduate by yourself. You got to be lumped in with the folks from 50 years ago who didn't do a damn thing to help you. Howard University might as well have just started up yesterday. For the amount of assistance and progress and benefit that the current class of graduates have gotten from the class of 1971, 1972, and 1973, Howard University might as well have just started up yesterday. Because the current graduates aren't getting any benefit from it. You can't show me the Howard endowment. You could probably mortgage a house with it. Ridiculous. Okay, I don't know if I brag on that. I don't know if I brag on being an alumni of Howard. I don't know if I would do that. I don't know if I would. I'd be thinking it over. Just saying. Oh, I'm not supposed to say that? Okay, they'll get mad at me if I say that. Fine. I won't keep doing that. I won't keep doing it then. Fine. Just want to give you all a brief comparison here. I just Googled the information. The Howard University endowment is somewhere around $800 to $900,000. I'm sorry, $800 to $900 million. $800 to $900 million. That is the current Howard University endowment. By comparison, Harvard University's endowment is $53 billion with a B. Over 52 times their amount. Let's just let that sink in for a moment. You check this next sentence, or the next paragraph right here. You take a look at this next paragraph and you see what it reads down here. Alongside Biden, 2023 Howard University honorary degree recipients included, shucky ducky, Jimbo Jangles Clyburn. Jimbo Jangles Clyburn. Well, there it is. There it is. Old Jimbo Jangles is front on deck. Right on deck. There you go. South Carolina Congressman, education benefactors Martha and Bruce A. Karsh, Keith Christopher Rowley, Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, A. Eugene Washington, President and Chief Executive Officer of the Duke University Health System, and Corporate Director Bennery Pratt Wiley. In his address, President Biden reflected on his experiences as a public defender. What about when he was going after black folk? Did he reflect on that, by the way? And his storied political career. Did he discuss busing and segregation, or did he kind of skip over that part? Asking for a friend. From witnessing the aftermath of the assassination of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., did he mention whether he danced a jig or not, or made a toast to his friends when it happened? To witnessing history as vice president to the first black president of the United States, Barack Obama, I want y'all to think about this for just a few moments. Now that we've said that. Now that we have said that. If you wonder, if you guess whether or not American politics is rigged, whether or not American politics is gamified, whether or not American politics is set up, consider this one thing. The longest standing politician, who goes all the way back to the segregation era, has been right at the seat of power or in it for both of your so-called alleged supposed black politicians at the highest levels. He's been right there next to them in an influential capacity. He was right there next to Barack Obama, basically being overseer. And now he is the plantation owner over Kamala Harris. We're not talking about they were both happening at the same time. We're talking about even if 8 years under Obama and then here comes Kamala Harris, and he's right there. Every time you talk about a black politician and the word presidency or vice presidency, there's Joe Biden right there every time. With only a 4-year gap between it, he's been the overseer in both of those situations. Now, you mean to tell me that that's accidental? That's accidental there. Nothing crazy, weird, wacky, way out, strange. Nothing weird going on there, right? Everything working the way it should be, right? No problems here. Oh, you just giving out conspiracy theories. All right. All right. I want you all to start hearing those kind of things and seeing those kind of things and taking note of that. At every pivotal point where you claim that you had some black politician in a position of power, then there's Joe Biden. There he is. There he is, pulling the strings. There he is, straw bossing. There he is, overseeing. At not just one juncture, but both of them. You can't mention any of the two biracial black folk. And there's Joe Biden standing over both of them? You reaching. Tell it to my mama. Thank you, Dick Gregory. Thank you, Dick Gregory. So there'll be some folks here who will sit up here and try to argue with it. Okay. All right. Howard University is letting you know where they come down on this. Letting you know where their bread is buttered. They're like, hey, you bad for business, Jason. You bad for business. We're going to have to let you go. I want to keep going here for a few moments. Because I want you to hear the rest of this. In his address, Biden reflected on his experiences as a public defender and his storied political career. From witnessing the aftermath of the assassination of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to witnessing history as vice president of the first black president of the United States, Barack Obama, Biden has long been a champion for justice. This is Howard University saying this. That Joe Biden has long been a champion for justice. He also took the time to reiterate his commitment to social, racial, and economic equity. Quote, "It's an honor to join you here today and receive an honorary degree from this great university. I'm truly honored to be here at Howard. Chartered 156 years ago by an act of Congress just after the Civil War. Founded on the hilltop in Washington," said Biden, "always promoting excellence, leadership, and truth and service. A proving ground for future leaders, trailblazing intellectuals, and the first black vice president of the United States of America." We are living through one of the most consequential moments in our history with fundamental questions at stake for our nation. Who are we? What do we stand for? What do we believe? Who will we be? You're going to help answer those questions, he said, when you come vote for me next year. In 2009, while waiting for Barack, I was living history. At the same time, I was reliving it. A vivid demonstration of race in America. Hope doesn't travel alone. It's shadowed by fear, by violence, and by hate. And after the election and the re-election of the first black American president, I had hope that the fear of violence and hate was losing ground. Well, yeah, Joe, considering the fact that you sowed a lot of those seeds, and just reap the harvest you have been going for there. My sincere hope is that each of you finds the sweet spot between happiness and the life of I'll be damned. Y'all want me to finish reading this mess? Okay, I'm not going to make it. Forget it. I'm not going to make it. And guess what? I'm not going to make it even though Pepto on deck, I'm not going to make it. So yeah, y'all can just read what's on your screen right there. You can just read that. Just take a look at that right there. You can read it for your damn self. The sweet spot. What the hell? Just like the Chicago mayor. The illegals, they need somebody to love and hug them. They are looking for love and acceptance. What the hell? The world has become a madhouse. It truly has. It's truly become a madhouse. I don't have a nice way to say this. There is no nice way to say this. This is what you get here. What I want to do next, I want to play some audio for you all. I want to play some audio. I played this yesterday, but I want to play it again so we can remind you, because we're here tonight to talk about who is against reparations. We started with Howard University. We're going to finish with Jimbo Jangles. We're going to finish with Jimbo Jangles Clyburn. And Jimbo Jangles was asked by our brother Darrell James if he supports cash reparations. And for those of you who may have missed last night's program, strap in. It's going to be a short clip, but you're getting ready to go for the ride.
What you say?
You want to know if you support reparations?
I'm sorry?
You want to know if you support reparations?
I support reparations, but other than that name, y'all need to learn what reparations is. Y'all keep talking about a word. It means to repair.
It's cash, being cash payments for
Hell no. You'll never get it.
Why not?
I support reparations, just not in that name. Really? So the name reparations you got a problem with, but the tenets of reparations. Darrell James, when you got somebody, when you memorize the talking points correctly, you catch them dead to rights. He said the problem is what you call reparations. So Darrell said, okay, that's fine, long as we get cash payments. No, you don't need cash payments. You need education. So Jimbo Jangle said it outright, straight up. Hell no. You ain't get back down, nigga. Hell no. Boy, they talk to us all kinds of crazy. Well, we got somebody else who's going to want to weigh in on this. We have someone else who's going to want to weigh on this. And on the line right now, I got our brother Marcel Dixon, who's joining us here live. Welcome back to the Black Channel, Marcel. Okay, Marcel, check your audio.
Hello, Jason. Thank you for having me back.
All right, brother. Well, man, look here. Old Jimbo Jangles is back at it again. He was asked about reparations, boy, I'm telling you. And he just sat there this time and flat out said, hell no. Brother, what do you think?
I'm not surprised, first of all. James Clyburn, as it was recently revealed, even though all black South Carolinians here knew, he works with the Republicans to keep himself in power. It's not to help benefit the constituents that he has in his district, especially not his black constituents. He has the sixth poorest district in the nation out of 435 congressional districts. But he works to make sure that he is enshrined in power. But there's more to that video that I don't think that people have not been giving enough attention to. When Darrell pressed him, and Darrell's a part of my 4.0 society, a group of us reparationists here in South Carolina, and we're pushing to make reparations the number one talking goal and topic for both parties, but especially the Democrats to get 95% of our vote. But when Darrell pushes Clyburn on that point, Clyburn then says something that he knows is disingenuous because he watches me. He knows that reparations is not race-based. But Clyburn then goes on to talk about his wife and how his late wife, apparently her grandfather, one of them was a white person, which I don't know about that one, but one of them was a white man and one was a woman who was from the African continent. And he then goes on to say, how would you decide if reparations then when people have mixed racial lineage? Clyburn knows he's being disingenuous. He knows that reparations is done based on lineage and based on being a Black American who's a descendant of American slaves, American freemen. But I'm not shocked at all at his response. I was actually there when it happened. I wasn't in that immediate area, but I was at the event where Darrell pressed him because we was trying to get an actual reparationist in office who went up against Clyburn's puppet and almost won had some of the people I wrote showed up.
Well, definitely, I'm glad that we stayed on the subject of this because now it's gone beyond being evasive about it. Now he's just like, well, last year he was cussing us out. This year is just hell no. So basically, he is the anti-reparations candidate. There's just no doubt about it now. When he was asked about cash payments, which is the heart of it, he can't say he's for reparations and be against cash payments. You can't say I'm for reparations and then say, let's find something other than cash payments. That's not reparations. That's a consolation prize. What do you say?
Exactly. I would challenge Clyburn. Will he ever say that to the Holocaust survivors? Will he say that to the people who are right now collecting a check who were either exposed to radiation during the era of nuclear testing in America? And if they're dead, their surviving spouse or their direct descendants are collecting checks for something to which they were not physically exposed. But right now, they are collecting checks. And slow Joe Crow Biden just renewed the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act. Clyburn, one of the first things he did when he got in office was he sponsored a reparations bill for the Catawba Native Americans who disgustingly, ironically, enslaved Black Americans. Not only did they enslave Black Americans, their profession were hunting down runaway slaves in South Carolina and North Carolina primarily. And the first thing he did was sponsor a reparations bill for them. He just reintroduced that bill last year. And he had the audacity to name it 1865. Which is our date. So the lack of respect that Clyburn, the soldiers, all of these other ones, the Congressional Slack Caucus have for us, just because there's no consequences for disrespecting Black Americans, is Black voters. We are held on camera. We live in the most impoverished areas. We have Black faces in high places who promote policies, not just feel-good talking points, but policies for every other group except for Black Americans. And they do it because there's no consequences. The reason Clyburn, who until then, Clyburn was actually speaking more favorably about reparation. He's doing it in a disingenuous manner. He's trying to pass off this bill that a white man wrote I forgot the congressman's name from Massachusetts, but there's a bill where they're trying to give descendants of World War II veterans, which I am one, my great grandfather was still alive, just turned 99 Tuesday. They're trying to give us access to the GI Bill benefits, but it has no cash involved. It really just makes us eligible for loans. And Clyburn has been pushing that as reparations. The only thing about that bill that I like, it is lineage specific, and it is just solidifying one of many instances where it's showing that anti-black hatred in America was always lineage directed towards black Americans, freedmen. However, Clyburn had been speaking a lot more favorably of reparations up until that day. And why he felt so arrogant and emboldened to speak like that? Because a puppet, Crystal Spain of his, that he endorsed to be the chair of the South Carolina Democratic Party, she had just won by the skin of her teeth. He had just won. So Clyburn's attitude is, well, I don't have to act like I like y'all now. I'm just going to tell y'all how I really feel. Because he realizes that if all we're going to do is talk tough on Twitter, tune into shows that are wonderful like yours, but not do anything when we log off the shows, he realized that he can do whatever he wants to do with impunity. And unfortunately, that's where his emboldened, arrogant attitude has come from. He's always been arrogant, but he was speaking more favorably of reparations until that day.
As far as the political side of it here, Marcel, you are looking at continuing to be politically active in this area.
Yes, definitely. I've thought about not doing it seriously, Jason. After the first time, my goal was to start a PAC because I feel like I spend so much time having to educate our people on, first of all, most people in South Carolina. When I went to the Democratic convention where Clyburn was confronted, I had resolutions for reparations and a few other things too. Office of Freedmen Affairs. People were running me down to sign it. So I don't get a lot of pushback. I don't get most people saying we don't deserve reparations. I have to educate them that it's lineage based, that it has to be cash, not programs. I have to educate them that Clyburn and the Congressional Slack Caucus could absolutely use their political clout and influence to get us the reparations we deserve, like they speak out in favor of policies of all these other groups. I spend so much time doing that and trying to get people activated. I have very little time to be the candidate. So I was going to start a PAC, but Jason, there has to be someone who is speaking specifically for the needs of freedmen, of Black Americans who are the descendants of American slaves on the scene federally, state level, and local level. There has to be a voice doing that, pushing our issues. So that's why I decided to run again. And I have a strategy, which I can't share, that I think is going to really push the issue much further than I pushed it the first time. And I don't think anyone sees it coming, including Clyburn.
Well, I'm glad to hear that there, brother. If people want to support your efforts here, where can they go to do that?
marcelforcongress.com/donate. And I want to say, I know a lot of us struggle because we are pretty much a wealthless people. We don't have much disposable income. But people always say we need to build up an economic base first and then finance our candidates. You will never be able to build up an economic base without having people in politics to protect you as you expand your economic base. If we can do the other first, then Black Wall Street will still be around. Black Wall Street is our perfect example of us building up an economic base, but we didn't have the political protection, and they destroyed all of them, either through outright violence, fire, flooding, or putting highways and railroads through them, or eminent domain. We have to finance our candidates first, get that political protection, so then we can expand upon the economic base we have. When I had 21,000 followers, I'm almost at 30 now. I said if I just got $5 from each of my 21,000, that would be $105,000 a month. That's nowhere near what Clyburn brings in, but it will allow me to be even more of a legitimate threat to Clyburn. I'm going to say, Jason, if we don't invest in our candidates, we won't have any. Because there is no way forward for me if the money's not coming in. And I don't have my own money to use, but even if I did, it's not wise to use your own money because you need to have people show they're invested enough in your campaign because you need that support to keep it moving. Because eventually the people who donate will be the people who make phone calls, people who knock on doors. And honestly, if I don't bring in the money, I am going to have to drop out and then we can't complain when we say that no one is speaking up for us, because the people who do stand up for us, they look back and they're standing alone. And that is just not a valid way to continue forward.
You know, what you just made there, I think, is a very good point. And I was just thinking about Jonathan Majors when you say that. I was just thinking about him, looking at a guy who economically and socially, so socioeconomically, he was on the rise. I mean, we're talking about millions of dollars and everything. Everything is all in your hands here. And all it took was one accusation. Didn't even have to be proven. One accusation from a white woman overcame and neutralized all of his money, all of his prestige, all of his popularity. He's mobbed up with the biggest movie studio in the world. They were going to make him the guy. And all it took was one accusation from one woman, and all of that was neutralized. So I think you make a very good point there that yes, we can build an economic base, but that it can't be a singular strategy. You got to be building an economic base while you're also, and make sure you're feeding your political base at the same time, because otherwise you're just a sitting duck. We can go down the list. OJ, Bill Cosby, the list goes on and on when they come for you like that. So that's a very good point that you make, in that if we do not protect, if we don't have the political structure in place to protect us, then we can make the money, but we'll be spending most of our time trying to protect ourselves from it, when otherwise it wouldn't have to be.
Exactly. And Jason, may I say this point too? We're not powerless. Speaking of Jonathan Majors, I don't know what's true, what's fact, and what's fiction, but I do know, if first of all, I don't believe in a person being accused of something and we just, because they were accused, we take it as gospel that they actually did of which they're accused. That's not fair. I don't care if you're black. It's been done to black men more than any other group of men, but I don't care if you're a black woman, white man, white woman. I feel everyone deserves the due process. However, I don't feel he's getting the due process. He's been accused, and all the evidence that has come forth shows that he actually did not do of which he's being accused. But now he's being blacklisted, dropped from roles. But what bothers me the most, Jason, I'm really just vent about us a little, is we act like we're powerless. We talk tough online, we vent online. Everyone says they're a former vet, they're MMA fighters, they're good at punching, they're good with guns. What good is acting tough? We're not going to be tough. We're not powerless. If Jonathan Majors is dropped or blacklisted from these movie studios, then we need to boycott those movie studios. Black people may not be the number one moviegoers, but we are a significant portion of that base. The same thing when it comes to the way we're being treated politically. When people come to me now, Jason, try to complain about stuff, I already know how bad things are for us. I don't need to hear it. I asked them, are you going to be the candidate, or are you going to be on the support team for the candidate? If they can't answer that, I leave it alone. We are not powerless. We may be wealthless, but we have never been powerless, or we wouldn't be here if we were powerless. We need to use the power and the resources we have to get what we deserve.
That reminds me, everybody's been talking about the brother Jordan Neely up there in New York. And I did a program about this last night. And during that program, I was pointing out to people that, by the way, you notice that no one is invoking self-defense as the argument for killing him. You can't say that he attacked anyone. Everyone admits, no, he didn't physically touch anybody. He didn't do anything. Then why did you do that to him? Well, he was yelling threats, whatever in the world that means, and scaring passengers. So let me get this straight. You're now telling me that if you're a white person and you are quote unquote scared of a black person, that you can now take action and kill them. This is what they're arguing. Well, he just scared us, and that gives me the ability to sneak up behind you, not in front of him, snuck up behind him, puts him in a chokehold and strangles him to death for 15 minutes. This is where we're at today. And your black political class, including Jimbo Jangles, silent. They're not pushing the issue, not saying anything. They're silent on this. This is why we have to have a change. So I'm very glad you gave us a call here to join us here tonight, brother. I'll let you have the last word.
Thank you, Jason. Just let me say, I remember with the two guys in Tennessee, and people were saying that they were being theatrical. And Teslin Figaro interviewed one, and when she asked him, like, what's your agenda specifically for black people? and then she mentioned reparations. And he said something like, well, I don't hear anybody mention that. Let me explain to people what they mean when they say that. The reason why James Clyburn come out so strong against reparations, they're saying that because they don't feel there's any support for them to get in power having reparations as part of their platform. I'm sure even James Clyburn knows that reparations is the right thing to do, but they don't feel there's any support moving forward. When people don't donate to Reparations Canada, I have other things on my platform. Yes, I'm not just a Reparations candidate, but reparations is the main thing. But reparations is my identifying factor. When they see reparations candidates like myself and a few others run, and they see us getting no support, that just reinforces the belief that they have there's no validity or no need in specifying an agenda specific for Black Americans, especially reparations. We have to prove them wrong, and we have to show that if you adopt an agenda specifically for Black Americans, freemen, FBA, that there is support in doing that. If not, we're going to continue getting the guy in Tennessee saying, well, I don't hear nobody mention that, so I'm not going to do it, even though he mentions LGBTQ issues all the time. We're going to continue getting James Clyburn saying, hell no. And right now, as we speak, James Clyburn will be retiring soon, but he's handpicking his successor who's going to have that same dismissive attitude. It is up to us to support people who support us and to show that it is worthwhile specifying things that are important and due to us. So I'm asking people to please do that.
Daniel Penny
raised
$1.3 million to kill somebody, to kill a Black person. I was saying this last night that white supremacy puts its dollars behind its beliefs. It doesn't just put its beliefs out there. It knows, okay, when we finish believing, we got to throw the dollars behind it. So it's belief and then bucks. We got to have it because they understand nothing's going to get done if you don't start moving things. Nothing's going to get done. It's not enough for you to be on the right side, quote, right side. It's not for you enough to be on the right. You're going to have to be on the right side of that cash register also. Marcel, thank you very much for joining us here tonight.
Thank you for having
me. And we'll be speaking to you again, brother. We appreciate it. Absolutely here, folks. Like I say, we got to take it seriously. We got to take it seriously. You're not going to get anything done just talking about it. And as Black folk, we have to understand. I told y'all last night, Daniel Penny's people, they didn't bring hope and change. They brought dollars and change. They didn't bring hope and change. They brought dollars and change. Because they understand, hey, if you're going to get anything done, you're going to have to make something jiggle. It's going to have to be. So I want all of you to keep that there in mind. If you are so inclined, you can assist our brother with that. Because we are not going to come into our own until we have the ability to do that. We're not going to come into our own until we have the ability to do that. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When we come back, we'll be taking your phone calls and more. Before we do, I want to thank everyone, and I do mean everybody, who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat, Venmo. My man Harlem King in the Super Chat. Thank you very much for your support, brother. We appreciate that with the Big B1, as always. Also want to send a shout out here to my man, Mr. Baker, Mr. Richburg, and everyone else, Kerman and everyone else who has contributed to support tonight's program here. Thank you very much for your support. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When we come back, we'll be taking your phone calls and more. This is The Black Channel.
Spirit of 1811 Publishing presents, in a world driven by fear and hatred, lurks a fierce assassin, the Tarpon. Armed with an insatiable appetite for death and destruction, the Tarpon's mission is to target and eliminate anyone who stands in the way of white supremacy. Enter Occam Jeffers, the fearless counter-racist hitman, whose mission is to hunt down and eliminate the Tarpon once and for all. But the Tarpon is cunning and ruthless. Will Occam be able to stop the Tarpon's deadly plot, or has he finally met his match? The ultimate fight to the death begins now. God Love Us, a novel by Josiah J. Starr. In stores May 22nd, 2023. Everywhere books are sold.
Having computer problems? Is your PC or Mac running slow? Need help building a gaming PC? Having problems with your Apple or Android device? Call or text Fix Too Fast. We can fix common and uncommon computer software issues remotely, anywhere, nationwide, from the comfort of your home or business. Are you having hardware issues with your PC or Mac? Ship it to us and we will ship it back fixed. Call 1-877-412-9890 or text 513-440-1646 to speak to a technician. Please visit our website at www.fix2fast.net.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Natural Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. My name is Joe Jackson. I'm a foundational Black American, and I entered the field of IT with the goal of helping the family globally. The industry's been changing, and I've learned a lot. But how did we get here? How do we navigate issues we face in the workplace? How can we get our house in order? Read The Concept and Intricacies of Being Black in IT, now on Amazon, as well as the best-selling Guide to Being Black in IT. Go to beingblackInIT.com.
More Threads, a brand owned by a descendant of Black American freedmen, was created to uniquely address Black American history and contributions that have been intentionally hidden and suppressed. Use their apparel and more to learn and share the Black American history of Black inventions, heroes, towns, Black business districts, and more. Sign up and support not only a Black-owned business, but a movement at www.morethread.co.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slavery and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority, and the telephone lines are now open. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the blackest radio program in existence, the only one of its kind on planet Earth today. As always, you are welcome to join us. And on tonight's program here, I would like to once again give priority to anyone. If you've been to a HBCU, I want to talk about that tonight. The HBCUs, in my opinion, have been incubators of anti-Black and anti-reparations strategy. Whatever the Democrats throw down, the HBCUs eat up. And for those of you who have been there, for those of you who went through those places and whatnot, I want to send a special invitation for you to go ahead and give us a call here tonight as well. The telephone number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the Black media. And you are welcome to give us a call here. Big shout out to my man B1 Media as a lifesaver. As always, thank you very much for your support. And to everyone who has helped to contribute to tonight's program. Our job here in the New Black Media is to help to decipher these things for you. I was speaking to somebody here yesterday who said that they don't even watch CNN and regular television anymore. They don't watch any of that. They wait for us to come on. They wait for us to come on and give the news because we are going to give the story behind the story, because it is our job to take a look at the propaganda and decipher it to see how the truth has been twisted, or how these are facts that have occurred and then the interpretation of them is twisted. Right now, you are living in a panorama. Look it up. You are living in a whirlwind of propagandistic manipulation. They're using words, and everywhere they go, they're using words, and they're bringing in people. And you think the words mean one thing, and they actually mean something else. And you're being held to the letter of the law, not the intent of the law. So when we talk about reparations, when we discuss reparations, and then you have a so-called black politician who tells you that he supports reparations as long as you don't use that word.
I'm sorry?
You want to know if you support reparations?
I support reparations not in that name.
I support reparations just so long as it's not reparations. I support reparations just not in that name. That's what he said. I support reparations. I support reparations, just not in that name. In other words, you don't support reparations. Because let me be very, very clear. The dominant society don't change the names. The dominant society bring it straight up the middle. This is what you're going to get. This is what you're going to have as black folk. When Jewish people were going for reparations, they didn't call it something else. When the Japanese were going for reparations, they didn't call it something else. You get to us and all of a sudden, we got to call it something else. We got to play the pronoun game. We got to relabel it. And you all know what happens if he forces you to relabel it something else, then what you're going to get is something else. But you will not get reparations. Call area code 480. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is Billy. I'm calling Chicago.
Okay, Billy from Chicago, west side or south side?
Yeah, north side.
Okay, Billy. Oh, here we go. All right, Billy, what's on your mind?
Okay. Jason, why do you tend to always misinform your callers? Because I don't think black people should be focused so much on reparations right now. Black people should just be more focused on how to fix their community and the culture that is destroying the community, not reparations. There are definitely much more important things to focus on rather than reparations.
Uh-huh. And give me the top 3 things that have nothing to do with our socioeconomic position that we should be focusing on.
Well, just currently, I'm not sure if you are aware of what happened in the news today. There's a young woman who was a Chicago police officer who got gunned down by 3
that happened today.
Men.
So that happened today, or that happened last week? That happened today?
That happened last week. But
okay, thank you. All right, you get your facts together. Get your facts together. Get your facts together first.
People should be focused so much, not reparations.
Get your facts together first of all. If you're going to make up propaganda, at least try to get the propaganda's facts together first
propaganda.
of all. So you didn't even have the facts together, sir. So. Okay, my first thought about it. Is, if you're going to ask that kind of question. Okay, let me make sure I've tuned up your banjo for you. Okay, so you're worried about the tragedy there of the young black female police officer who was killed up there in Chicago. Do you see that as an issue of the black community, is what you're saying? Not the Chicago Police Department,
Absolutely.
but the black community.
It's an issue with the black community. She basically went home off duty, basically just got off work, and 3 young black thugs raised by single mothers went ahead and gunned her down. That's the culture. That's black culture, basically. It's a matriarchal society, and we need to fix it. We need to start uplifting black men and motivating them to start doing things to promote and uplift their community.
Okay, brother, no offense. Do you need some Mucinex? Because you sound real stopped up. Every time you call me, it's like your allergies are messing with you. So before we go any further, do you need an antihistamine or do you need a decongestant? Because you sound stopped up every time you call in.
You could go ahead and just try to mock me or try to use ad hominem.
Brother,
attacks.
I'm not
just trying
mocking
to
you. These jokes
push it.
write themselves. I'm not mocking you.
Well, again, you're trying to deflect off the issue. Reparations isn't the big thing. It's other things that are focused, that Black people should focus more on. And I think that you're distracting Black people from what's most important to them, which is the crime and the culture that is occurring in our community. I mean, I hear this all the time in Chicago.
Brother, what do you think about the 3 Black kids who killed that woman in Colorado?
What are you talking about?
There was that rock throwing incident in Colorado. These 3 Black kids set up here and threw some rocks off a bridge, and this woman was driving along and got killed. Are you going to say that's a community issue also?
3 Black kids went ahead and, I mean...
Are you going to say that's a community? That's not a juvenile delinquency issue? You're going to say that's a Black community issue?
You see, you're trying to... Forget about. I'm talking about this specific issue.
Okay, I'm talking about. You just named 3. You just named 3 Black teens in Chicago. You said they killed a police officer. Got it. What about the 3 Black teens?
And it's not.
What about
the
3? What about the 3 Black teens? Okay, but sir, what about sir? We're not going to talk over the host. Sir, we're not going to talk over the host now.
In 30 minutes.
You're not that deep. You're not that congested. We're not going to talk over the host. In Colorado, there were 3 Black kids who threw rocks off a bridge, and this white woman who was driving along got killed. Now, are you going to say that that's a community issue or that's a juvenile delinquency issue?
It's a community issue. Basically, if they were Black, they're more than likely they were raised by single mothers.
I'm very glad you said that, because Joseph Koenig, Nicholas Kolichik, and Zachary Quack were 3 white teenagers who on May 4th, just a couple of weeks ago, threw some rocks off of this overpass, and a 20-year-old woman driving along named Alexa Bartell was killed.
Well, they used rocks. They didn't use guns.
So that's okay. So it matters how you kill them. So if they had thrown rocks at the Chicago police officer, that would have been okay.
They had no intention to kill that young woman who was killed in Colorado.
So, you can't prove the 3 teens. You can't prove that
young Black woman.
Sir, you can't prove that.
Everything that was going on.
Sir, you can't prove intent. You can't prove intent, you mental midget. You can't prove intent.
I highly doubt when people want to go ahead and throw rocks, they want to kill someone.
Okay, sir, you have no proof that they didn't.
You're trying to deflect off the
No,
issue.
sir, what I did was I just gave the exact same scenario. You said 3 kids killed a Black woman in Chicago. They're Black. Oh, they're thugs. 3 white kids in Colorado. Well, what did they use exactly? Oh, was it a rock? I'm sure they didn't mean to. Brother, let me tell you, you've earned tonight's theme song for you. Go ahead and get your thistle out. Go ahead and shine up your tap shoes, brother. It's your time to shine. Who needs white supremacists when we got fellas like him? Who needs white supremacists when you got folks like Nigerians?
I think you're the white supremacist because you're ignoring the true issue that is facing the Black community right now.
Okay,
it's basically a cultural issue.
So when something like this happens, it's a community issue. When it's 3 white kids, a gang of white kids do the same thing, that's not a community issue.
It's not systemic.
Boy, he's stuttering. Do y'all hear him? He's flustered over here. Boy, he is flustered, ain't he? I mean, he's getting coon tongue-tied. Tap dance tongue-tied.
And you're just, I think you're a psyop, man. I think you're just trying to, I think you're an agent of white supremacy.
Brother, you think I'm a psyop, and I think you're a sinus, is what I think.
Uh-huh. You're absolutely wrong, though. I think you should start letting your viewers know about the real issues that.
And I think you need to start taking some Vic steam treatments is what you need to do. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Yeah. Yes, I up. You're assigning us while you're sitting here talking. What the hell is wrong with this guy here? Somebody let him out tonight. Call Area code 347. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Oh man, what's up, man? This is Jarrell from Jamaica, Queens.
Oh, Jarrell from Jamaica, Queens. What's on your mind?
I don't know how you have the patience to deal with this sometimes, man. I commend you. Quickly, I went to DSU, Delaware State University, for like one semester in 2012, and it was some good people. I met a lot of good black people from different areas, but for the most part, it was a lot of performative stuff. It was almost like academic church, a lot of just hooping and hollering, but nobody was really trying to do anything serious. As long as they got a little chance to get their degree and be educated dummies, nobody really gave a F word, So it's really sad to see what's going on. Reparations shouldn't even be an argument or a debate. We know what's up. Everybody know what's up. Even people who are opposed to it, they're opposed to it because they know what's up. So,
I mean, here's the thing.
Games, man. We know what we need.
I want y'all to understand. I want you all to understand something real quick here, because these things are not put in their proper perspective. Did you say you went to an HBCU?
Yeah, I went for one semester. I left after the first semester in like 2012.
Okay,
I got up out of it.
You went back in 2012. Okay, which school did you go to?
Yeah, Delaware State University.
Okay, and like I say, I mean, as far as these students and whatnot, there, you're saying that they were not really. Did they come there with the idea or intention of improving themselves for the benefit of black society?
I'm not going to sit here and lie. I met a couple of people, but they weren't the majority. The majority was a party school, and as the semester progressed, I realized I was paying all this money basically to come to the hood. Like, it was just everybody from, black communities all over. They came there and was like, oh, let's just turn up because we're away from our parents or our guardians.
Well, so I want you all to think about this for a moment.
Serious agenda.
I want to put this in perspective for all of you right now. To anyone who wants to sit up here and tell you, I'm going to drop some heavy business on y'all tonight. You're about to get a whole new talking point. If you all let anybody tell you that we shouldn't get reparations because it's been too long, all the folk who are involved are dead and gone. There's no reason for you to be getting some preferential treatment. It'll cost too much. It's been too long. You shouldn't get no preferential. It's been too long. Those were things that happened a long time ago. It's been too long. I want you all to keep one thing in mind. The Trail of Tears, which was the largest human mass forced migration probably in world history, but certainly in North American history. That happened in 1838. Let me say it again. That happened in 1838. The first Indian casino in America was for the Seminoles down in Florida. That was 1979. 140 years later. Now you think about that for a moment. There wasn't a single person who was still alive who had been affected by the Trail of Tears. Not a single one. And yet Indian casino after Indian casino has been getting help, special dispensation, and everything else. And since 1979 was just the first. That was just the first one. And they've been rolling and rolling and rolling ever since. Let me remind you again, not a single $5 Indian, $10 Indian, or pure blood Indian who was affected by the Trail of Tears, not even their children were still alive by the time you get to 1979. Not after 140 years. And yet, they started 140 years later. You show up and now they telling you what you don't need to get and what you're not supposed to have. But they're not saying that to these white folk masquerading as Seminoles and Cherokee. Now, that's what they're not doing. And I've seen several Indian casinos. They're not saying that to them 140. And at this point now, y'all do realize we're going on 200 years later. You do realize we're now going on 200 years after that. While they're telling you what you don't
People
need,
are scared,
and your
man.
HBCUs and your schools, they did not teach you all the very simple arithmetic that I just did tonight. I'll let you have the last word.
Yeah, I just want to say I think anybody that's trying to deflect from reparations or it's too long or it's, we don't really need that. I think you're just scared and your heart is made out of melted butter. Man up and fight for what you deserve, what your lineage deserves. Also, Billy, go play in traffic with your eyes closed, nigga. B1, I'm out.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Trust me, even if his eyes aren't closed, I assure you his nose is. Caller from area code 773. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
D-Co Chief in the place to be. B1, brother. I'm from Chicago, Illinois.
All right, brother Coach Chief. South side, west side?
South side.
All day.
Southeast
What's on your
side,
mind,
they call
brother?
it. Man, every time I hear somebody from the north side of Chicago speak, it's like it be throwing me off because it's not a real representation. And I just want to mention to you, you know what I'm saying? A lot of them people on the north side, that's where you find the most integration in Chicago. But Chicago is completely segregated. But the people on the north side, I don't know what came first, the buck breaking or just being boochie bandits. But everybody on the north back in the days, that was where the fags were. And you know what I'm saying? Maybe that's why they integrated like that. And maybe that's why the way they coon like that. I don't mean to say fags, but
well, he's part of the immigrant. He's part of the immigrant class, so you know what he was told. Now, when you get over there, you do not go on that south side, and you do not go on that west side. You go up here on the north side. There's plenty of white people for you to be there, so that's where you go. And that's this writes itself.
Yeah, it's all goofy stuff. And the last thing I want to say, though, as far as the people saying that reparations are so far back in time, the reason it's so back in time is because they fight us against it all the way until it's a long distance time away. Then when that time comes, they say, it was so long ago. You know what I'm saying? It's just a game. You know what I'm saying? I ain't
this
with
is
the
law.
Games, and
This is law.
Y'all.
Understand, remember, they did this with the Exxon Valdez, if you remember. They did this with the Exxon Valdez. For those of you who don't remember, it was at the time when we were all children. That was the largest oil spill in history back when we were children. It was. That was 1989. And they held them folks off for damn near 30 years. By the time Exxon started paying out, I think over half the claimants had died. That was their whole legal strategy, is you have a system that allows the wealthy or the establishment to just sit up here and keep bull jiving around and install you, that literally it's legal to sit up here and stall till everybody's dead and then say, oh, what do you know? We don't have to pay out so much. The claimants are dead.
Yeah,
this is cutthroat.
Like I don't want to hold your broadcast up, brother. I so enjoy it. I just want to say B1 and thank you very much.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Please do give us a call again. I want you all, I'm trying to give you all a crash course in the history of these numbers. When you talk about the Exxon Valdez, that was 1989. By the time that case got resolved, it was damn near 30 years later. And that was deliberate maneuvering by the Exxon Corporation, not because they were in the right, to simply just sit up there and stall. And their wicked judicial calculation was if we stall long enough, many of the claimants will die. And therefore, we will just cut down on the amount we got to pay. This becomes an investment in the corporation. When the corporation starts saying, you know what, we'll just stall for decades, not years, decades. They're basically saying that we're going to use our judicial and political clout to sit up here and stonewall these folks and basically make what we owe them part of the institution of the corporation, since corporations are by definition eternal. They go from one century to another century. They just say, we'll just chalk that up to this century. And by the time we do got to do something, they'll all be dead. They looking at us the same damn way. Here's the difference. We're not like the folk with the Exxon Valdez that you messed over. This is a blood debt. And the only thing you doing is letting that meter run up that tab. That's all you're doing. Guess what? Your corporations are eternal. Your government is theoretically eternal. Man, we are the first people on this planet where the definition of eternal will be right here when it's time to cash them checks. I don't know if your nation will be. I damn sure don't know if your corporation or your Harvard University will be. But I assure you, the foundational descendants will be here. Will be right here. Might be a new dance to dance. Might be some new hip hop pant styles. Everybody might go back to natural hair. I'm not sure what exactly we'll be wearing, but I know where we'll be. We'll be right here. Caller from area code 651. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good evening, Mr. Jason Black. This is Bill calling out of Minneapolis, Minnesota.
All right, Bill out of Minneapolis. What's on your mind?
Yes, sir. I just want to say to that caller right there that was basically talking all that nonsense, the first caller you got, let me tell you something right now. I'm Eritrean American, and everything that you just said is completely offensive. You know what I mean? Black Americans deserve reparations more than any other group of Americans and anyone else in this country. And for you to have the audacity to sit here and say that we don't deserve reparations, get out of here with that nonsense, man. But I definitely agree with the sentiment of what Marcel Dixon said. The bottom line here is that if we don't invest into the people that are speaking for us, that are willing to go into the trenches and fight for the reparations that FBA deserves, it's going to continue to be the same cycle all over again. It's about time that we all start putting our money, our resources where we have to fight the issue at hand. Because right now, we got the issue of reparations at the forefront. And I'm speaking as an Eritrean myself, that we definitely support that heavily all the way, because it's not even a question about whether we deserve it or not. It's basically proven.
Do you know how disingenuous it is for somebody in the modern age today to tell you that they ain't heard about reparations when what's going on in California has made international news? They know what's going on. They're just hoping that they can dodge around it. And the reason why we keep bringing up reparations is very simple. Reparations is our political litmus test. Reparations simply tells us if you are with us. That's all. It doesn't matter whether you think, quote unquote, we gon' get it or not, whether we can get it or not. Reparations is merely our socio-political litmus test, simply to tell us if you are with us. And because that's a cut and dry issue. That's a contrast issue. Right there, if somebody tells you that they're against reparations, next thing you know, you start hearing a whole bunch of other things they're going to say that are also against us. I'll let you have the last word.
Yep. Absolutely, 100%. And the bottom line here is that if anyone that sits here that says that you're against reparations, you really need to check yourself in the mirror and realize that you're speaking nothing but nonsense, because it's not even a debate anymore. Reparations is a human rights. It's a human rights thing that African American and every black person deserves more than anything else. We've suffered too much. There's nothing else to be said. Be one.
B1, brother, thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Let me get caller from area code 773. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
It's Law from Chicago.
Okay, Law from Chicago. What's on your mind?
Nothing much. Just back to that idiot from Chicago from up north, the Billy guy that tap dance and then got the banjo music playing. He talking about that officer. I mean, it was unfortunate what happened to that sister, but I mean, nobody above robbery. It was a robbery that went sideways. So, I mean, stuff happens. So nobody above a robbery. And this guy, every time he called in, it just irks me because he just such a damn.
Well, here's the issue. He's taking a robbery committed by 3 black suspects and saying that's a community problem. That's indicative of the community. That's a community issue. And I'm like, okay, well, I just want to make sure. Now we have the definition of what a, quote, community issue is. There were 3 white teenagers who just killed a white woman out there in Colorado. That's a white community issue, right? And then you saw immediately he changed up. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, what did they do it with? I mean, they didn't mean to kill her. And it's like, that shows you right there this is deeper than that. This is not about, was it a robbery? His issue is with black folk, period. Nothing about him robbery.
Yep.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight.
Yeah, Jim.
Let me get caller Miracle 410. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello.
Yes, you're on. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm sorry. My name is Helen. I'm calling from Baltimore.
Okay, Helen from Baltimore, and what's on your mind?
I was just calling because I'm a student at a HBCU.
Okay, you're a student at
And
HBCU. Which one?
Coppin State University.
Okay, how long you been going there?
2018, and I dropped out for a year because of personal issues, and I returned to finish my bachelor's degree.
Okay, baby, how old are you?
26.
Okay, because you sound like you about 76. So I'm about to say, what is your degree? Are you getting your doctorate in biology? So, all right, man. Well, when you were going to school
26.
there, when you go to school, don't worry, man. I'm sure Cicely Tyson is proud of you. But when you're going to school there, what I want to find out here is that, when you were going there, did they ever discuss reparations with you?
No, I don't even be on campus. Like, right, this semester is my senior. I'm graduating Friday, and I don't take. I'm only in seminar, and that's Wednesdays, and I don't be on campus because I don't. That's like the people on campus don't really are not like pro-black like I am. I never really spoke to anyone. I'm a bit of a loner, so I only went to Coppin just to take classes so I can get my degree in education because I want to teach.
Okay, well, it sounds like you would make a marvelous teacher. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Special Ed, here she comes. Caller Miracle 352. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Ray. I'm calling from Florida.
Ray from where at in Florida?
Ocala.
All right, Ray in Ocala, and what's on your mind?
Great broadcast. I just like to say that Tether, we're going to remember all these people that put roadblocks in our way, that treat us bad, that disrespect us, that discriminate against us. Just take note. Just remember who they are, because the day is coming. The day of reckoning is coming, and each and every one of those guys are going to have to pay. And as far as reparations, I'm all for it. I'm even for restoration, and I believe we will get reparations, but it's going to be a trick bag because you got the digital system getting ready to kick in. And I think right around July, you're going to see a lot of things going on with the banks and everything like that. But
no matter what's going on with it, we'll be sitting right there whenever it happens. If it goes paper, digital, astrophysical, we're going to be right there for it. Give me my crystal ball and my Ouija board and cut my check through this Ouija board. Thank you very much for giving me a call tonight. Let me get caller Miracle 505. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Okay, caller from 505 has been abducted. Caller from area code 802. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, this is Mark calling from Boston. How you doing, Mr.
Okay,
Black?
whoever you are on the phone right now here, it sounds like you're zooming down the highway. But if you're on Bluetooth or something, you're going to need to take it off because we can barely make out what you're saying.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. What's your name?
Can you hear me?
What's your name? Where you calling from?
I'm Mark calling from Boston.
All right, Mark calling from Boston. What's on your mind?
No, I just wanted to thank you for keeping reparations at the forefront. I think this is a vital issue. One of the ideas that I want to hear your thoughts on it, is that this reparations issue is our Nuremberg trials, right? Because we have to document and demonstrate, which is already known out there, but it really puts it in the face of those people who are anti-reparations, because then you have to say, from slavery through the new Jim Crow, which is today, you have to say that these things aren't occurring specifically to black people, and it just puts them in a place of just lying, and they have to come up the middle, like you said, with your real issue. You're just say you're anti-black at that point.
Exactly. That's the thing that we're getting to there. When you say thugs, when you say Antifa, when you say woke, those are code words for black. All we're doing is being preemptive. We're just being proactive. And we are just simply saying, hey, if they say they're anti-reparations, we see that for what it is. That's another one of those racial code words for being anti-black. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. There are a couple of people who are on the line here tonight, and I don't know if they're calling from Skype numbers or whatever the case may be, but your numbers are not showing up. So what you're going to need to do is, if you're like an international caller or something like that, you need to post up in the chat room that you are. If you're calling from blocked numbers or unlisted numbers, I will not answer those. So you can call, but it needs to be a number that we can see. If you're not going to do that, you need to declare that you're on the line there. But as far as if you got a blocked number, private number, or anything else, we're not going to answer those to begin with. So you're going to have to do better than that if you're trying to troll. Let me get caller from area code 901. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Janelle from Memphis.
Janelle from Memphis, what's on your mind?
Yes, I just wanted to bring up the point that whenever a black person tells one of these officials or somebody that we want reparations, their first answer is to say, you know, no, black people don't need reparations. What black people need is education. And I find that personally offensive. That's offensive to all of us because we get a free education K through 12 already. And that hasn't made any difference in the state of black people in this country. So it's like, what are they telling us we need to learn?
Yeah, it doesn't do us a bit of good because they give you their little degrees from their little institutions, and then you go out there and run headlong into a socio-economic system of white supremacy that your little old degree from their little old institutions cannot overcome. Because the world is not run by the A students. Let me say that again for everybody out there who didn't get it. The world is not run by your A students. Mark Dorsey at Twitter was not an A student. Mark Zuckerberg, damn sure not an A student. Bill Gates, damn sure not an A student. Donald Trump, damn sure not an A student. Ron DeSantis, damn sure not an A student. Joe Biden, hell no, not an A student. The world is not run by A students. The socioeconomic system is not run by the best and brightest. It's run by the most connected who utilize the best and brightest to prop them up. So you go off and focus on being the best and brightest, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't focus on being the best and brightest. I'm just saying I don't want you to be under any misconceptions about what the power is you're taking out into the workforce. There's no such creature as educational power. There's no such animal. You talking about I'm going to this school and they're going to give me education power. No, they won't. So when someone tells you, well, we'll give you reparations in the form of education power, no, I want economic power. Not education power. Give me the economic power. I'll buy my own degree. And I do mean buy it. Because Joe Biden is sitting up there getting an honorary degree. Yeah, I'll take one of those. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller area code 803. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Leroy Livingston. I'm calling from Greensboro, North Carolina.
All right, Leroy, what's on your mind?
Hey, this whole thing about reparations is needed. They think that this is a game, that we have all this time. Dude, we can't even get decent drinking water anymore. The fact that we get boil advisories every single day, Flint, Jackson, and even that little Caucasian town, East Palestine, these issues have not stopped. They know what they're doing. And all these coonettes, I'm seeing just a bunch of useless BS. All these degrees, not 1 ounce of economic power. Not 1 ounce. A bunch of butt dancers, butt kissers, and whatnot. And then on top of that, did you hear about a week ago that the DNC basically said that there will be no debate? No debate. Joe Biden will not be debating nobody because they know this reparations question will be coming up, and it will be coming up frequently. And to be embarrassed that you have lost 2 generations across the world, he says, like, this dude is not even controlling his own country. But we all know that.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
so
look, what they're conceding is that they're on the run. You can't march Obama out anymore. Obama's radioactive.
Yep.
So he's not moving the needle. Joe Biden's support among black folk is plummeting. Therefore, Roland Martin can't rally the troops. What they're doing is signaling a year in advance, hey, we're in trouble. Things are bad. Rally the troops, go to HBCUs, go talk to Harvard. When you're going to Howard University, when you're going to Howard to hold basically a political rally, you know you're in trouble. I'll let you have the last word.
Yep. I'm saying to my people out there, the black community, keep on pushing the reparations, and don't ever feel like, oh, you're causing a ruckus. No, you got a social security card and you got a birth certificate that you were born and raised here in the United States. That by those two accreditations alone, you say, no, you have every right to ask questions. You have every right to go to these politicians' houses and places and say, where's my money? You have every right. Those two accreditations, that birth certificate and that social security card, means everything. Be wise.
B1, brother, thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Let me get caller from area code 678. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, how you doing, Jason Black? This is JB from Atlanta, Georgia.
All right, JB from Atlanta, and what's on your mind, brother?
Hey, what's going on, man? I just want to say I appreciate everything you do, man. And I'm a former Marine as well. What that white man did, he knows how we was taught. He knows what he did, point blank.
And so does the judge, and so does the DA, and so does any damn body else. There is nobody who heard U.S. Marines strangle somebody to death and thought it was an accident. Nobody. If that had been a black male who strangled a white man who was half his size to death, nobody would be saying, ooh, it's so bad, he shouldn't watch what he was doing. They would be saying black man strangles white man to death. They wouldn't even be saying Marine. When you say U.S. Marine strangles somebody to death, that's not accidental. 24-year-old Marine strangles somebody to death? No, that's not an accident. That's the intent. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller area code 929. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Okay, caller from area code 929 has been abducted. Caller from area code 909. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Okay, folks are out there asleep at the wheel. We'll try one more call. Let me get caller from area code 713. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Okay, whoever you are here, I'll give you one more try here. It sounds like you're calling from the moon. What is your name? Where you calling from? Okay, his telephone on the USS Intrepid, returning from planet Romulus, is encountering some interference in the quadrant asteroid belt. So I hope he makes it. Caller from area code 706. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Bo Monty calling from Augusta, Georgia.
All right, Bo Monty from Augusta. And what's on your mind, brother?
When it comes to reparations, why can't we get some of these black folks who are totally against it just to opt out? And that goes for black institutions too. And that'll make it easier for us that are 100% behind reparations. It's like, don't fight against us, just opt out and just don't say nothing about it.
Because that's not the way it works. You got to understand, they identify with the dominant society. Jimbo Jangles, like Elijah Cummings, like all the rest of them that we've been talking about here for years, like John Lewis, they were the handpicked niggas. They've been they've been the pet Negroes. So you got to understand, Jim Clyburn has spent more time around Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden than he has around black people. And when they're behind closed doors, they give him the same stump speech that they gave Obama and Kamala and Kwesi Mfume and all the rest of them. Oh, you're better than the rest of them. And them niggas sitting there, oh, you sure right, I sure is. You know, it's hard to say. I hate to tell them like that, but we got to just say the truth, deal. And that's literally what goes on. Simone Sanders thinks she's better than everybody else. She thinks she is the bestest. She literally believes that. She's like, who are you? With her loud ass, who are you? Who are you, Jason? I met Bill Clinton when I was in high school. We got the pictures of it, brother. They chose. Y'all got to understand, these people are vetted. Think about this for just a few moments. I want you all to go in the Wayback Machine with me for a moment. Think about this for a few moments. You do realize that when Barack Obama was, I think, in elementary school, he had written a poem or written a story or something that, and what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be president of the United States. Never mind the fact that there's so many kids who say that. He wrote a paper when he was a little kid talking about how he wants to be president of the United States. What I'm saying is, how is it that the DNC and the Democrats and everybody knew that? And I'm telling you, that's part of the process. they're not going to take you and put you in the White House if they haven't checked your paperwork all the way back. And if they find anything that is troubling, anything, they're going to go and check and look for the markers that you're a Trojan horse. They're going to look at that. See, this is why the Trojan horse strategy won't work for us. Because they're like, oh, we're not going to take no chances. We're turning over every leaf. And if we don't, you can't falsify the evidence going back that far. So if we don't find what we're looking for, we stonewalling you. We blocking you. Brother, I don't know if you watch sports or not, but I'm sure you can understand. The NBA and the NFL are not filled with the best athletes. They're filled with the best athletes who are on code with what they're doing. Colin Kaepernick stood up. Colin Kaepernick took a knee. They descended on him. He was one man, one person, one guy. And you ain't had another one since. What does that tell you? In all these decades of an NFL, you done had one Kaepernick. Just one. And you haven't seen another one yet. That tells you what the approval process to get in that league is. So you'll be killing the numbers in college if you can get that far, because by the way, the colleges now are just the recruiting grounds for the NFL. So guess what? You might not get signed out of high school. When you think about it for a few moments, Nick Saban, when college, NFL, back to college again, the college systems now, those are the gatekeepers. So you know what that means. Right. Think about this for a few moments. What if you got a SEC school, Big Ten school, that sits up here and has a habit of sending quote-unquote troublemakers? Yeah, y'all, your football program there in Louisiana, LSU's football program is good. Y'all keep sending too many woke niggas up here. Next, don't you understand? You'll get a letter from Roger Goodell. Not even a letter. Roger Goodell will take them folks, the recruiters, the boosters, whatever, to dinner somewhere and tell them, yeah, you keep doing this, and we may not be taking any recruits from your school. We want to keep things quiet. We want to keep things calm. We want to stay focused on football. You keep sending too many woke folk up here, so just be aware. If that keeps happening, don't be surprised if we just don't get anybody from your school. You can submit them, but just don't be surprised if we don't take any of them. Don't you know that's a real conversation? Don't you know that really does happen?
Absolutely.
Don't you know that really does? After that right there's, everybody's in line now. And you have no way of stopping that, because as most of you are aware, your high school football coaches are all trying to get to college football coach. And your college football coaches, including offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, strength and conditioning coaches, everybody at the college level is trying to get to the NFL. So when the NFL sends that kite and the NFL drops the word, hey, don't send no woke folk up here. You better fall back on that. Don't you know they're going to be first in line? Oh, no, we'll take this person. Wait a minute, he was in high school. You said, what about George Floyd? Okay, yeah, not him. Not him. So you see, they'll never have to take the heat for your stats. They'll never have to take the heat for your stats because they blocked you in high school. I'm from Louisiana. Anybody from Texas knows this. Texas has the most voracious football program in America at the high school level. But for a lot of you, especially for those of us from the South, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Alabama, the GDP is damn near less than Ecuador. But the football program is off the damn chain. And I'm talking about in high school. You got strength and conditioning programs in high school that are rival anything in the NFL. So I'm telling you, the high schools know what not to do. And the colleges are the gatekeepers. So if you do too much wrong at the high school level, don't be surprised if they're just not accepting folk from your school. You got a predominantly black high school. Yeah, we ain't really taking him from there. He got to transfer over to one of the white schools. If he gets over there to one of the white schools, they want to see how that gonna go. Because here's the thing. I have, without saying too much, I've talked to recruiters. And on the slick, I just asked one question to one of them one time. I had asked him about when you're talking to people there for the college and whatnot, do you ever talk to them in high school? And he's like, yeah, we do. I said, do you ever talk to like their family and their friends? Yeah. Their classmates? Sometimes. Why do you need to do that? Now, there's a very simple explanation. Oh, we want to make sure they're not disciplinary problems. Do they do drugs and stuff like that? Yeah, okay, that sounds good. But I wonder, what other things could you be asking that lets you know that he might be a problem? It might be we're looking for some red flags and some problem signs here. Does he wear a Malcolm X t-shirt? Does he come from some black Muslim family? There's a reason why you don't see a bunch of black Muslims in the leagues. You had the one. They ran him about the NBA. You had the one. They was like, oh, ain't gonna be that again.
But if they're white, they can come from any kind of. My parent was a Nazi, neo-Nazi.
Brother,
and that's fine. They don't say nothing about that.
If they're white, he can come from the Church of Satan. And that's not going to stop him from getting in the league. Every time he does a slam dunk, it's hook 'em horns, praise Baal. It's like, okay, that's what it can be. Just that can happen. But you black is like, oh, no. We see problem signs all over you. You might want to go play in Europe. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Yeah, if you black and you're a troublemaker, you might want to go play in Canada. You need to go play for the Canadian Football League. You can go up there. You can be pro-black in Toronto. You can't be pro-black in Tucson. You can be pro-black in Toronto. You can be pro-black in Winnipeg. You can't be pro-black in Washington. Caller from area code 229. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Rob from Valdosta.
Okay, you got a lot of noise going on behind you. I'll give you 5 seconds to resolve that. If you're calling in here, folks, you shouldn't have speakers on and all the rest of that. Let's get our act together.
Oh, okay.
What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Rod, calling from Valdosta.
Rod from Valdosta, what's on your mind?
Like you said, they're old chicks again, but I don't know why they don't just realize we see them now. Like they always try to hijack the topic, the subject, like they did with Kaepernick. Well, he wasn't milling about disrespecting the flag, but that's what he wanted to turn it into. Just like now, Biden, we're going to say the problem is white supremacy. No, we avoid that reparation topic. No. We'd rather talk about white supremacy than talk about reparations. That let us know, they're here and they're scared.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Biden was not, folks, nobody was using the term in the media and in politics. They weren't using the term white supremacy. You notice that the folks are telling you they ain't hearing us and they ain't worried about that. And over the last decade, you have watched as the new black media has changed the national lexicon. Folks ain't talking about racism anymore. They're now saying the word white supremacy. They're now saying that. Shout out to Brother Neely Fuller and Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. So they hear us. Now they're letting you know at the very highest levels, they hear what we're saying, and they're trying to figure out, okay, we hear what you're saying. Will you accept a consolation prize? Can we give you something short of what you're actually asking for? Everybody else, we're going to give them what they're asking for and a little bit more. But for you, let's try to figure out how we can give you less than that. And you can't deal with white supremacy in half measures. You got to go all the way or you ain't going. Caller, thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. We appreciate that. Let me get caller from area code 504. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is G from New Orleans. Good evening,
G from New Orleans. What's on your mind, brother?
Thank you, brother. I just want to tell you a couple of things. Great broadcast last night and great broadcast tonight. And I just want to tie everything in. I'm going to try and be brief with it. I just like to ask you, did you know about this Negro up in New York, the former governor of New York, the first black and also the first blind governor, who did a radio interview stating that Daniel Penny should have never been charged because he actually said this. He put a chokehold on it, and obviously he didn't do it the right way, and said, well, he shouldn't have been charged. And this is a man who was a prosecutor. These Negroes, from him to Clyburn, the Congressional Black Caucus, they all need to be weeded out. Point blank, period. Do not reelect them. Do not vote for them. It's been proven Clyburn was a sellout because even Marcel talked about it, how he went to the Republicans to keep himself in power. We got to keep putting our foot on their necks about this stuff, because when it comes to every other ethnic group in this country, I don't care if you talk, even out of this country, look at the Ukrainians. Somehow or another, the government finds a way to get the money. Native Americans, they still give money to them. You got money that there was even talk once, Jason, about reparations being going to gay people. I don't know if you know that, but back in 2015, they actually were trying to pass something like that because of the marriage laws that were in place, and wanted to give that back since couples couldn't claim their spouses on these tax returns. That's stuff that happened. They considered that. They even passed it in the House. It just didn't make it in the Senate. That was recently. So when they want to do stuff for other people, they'll fight for other people. With us, not so much. You have no allies, black folks, on the Republicans and from the Democrats. You're on your own.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Please do give us a call again here. From the New York Post here, you all can see that ex-New York Governor David Paterson, who really I think only got in because Elliot Spitzer got arrested, I think it was, says Marine Daniel Penny should not face charges in subway chokehold death. Former New York Governor David Paterson has come out in support of Daniel Penny, claiming the Marine did not commit a crime and should not have been charged with manslaughter in the subway chokehold death of Jordan Neely. Paterson theorized that Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg didn't want to let Penny, 24, loose because of a history of minorities getting killed under controversial circumstances, but said the defendant is not at fault for what the ex-governor deemed an unfortunate tragedy. And this is former Governor Paterson, for y'all who need to know. So, yeah, he didn't pass the paper bag test. But he's one of these Obamas. And now you want to know why they allowed him to become lieutenant governor and then governor. You want to know why? It certainly wasn't because he was smart. Penny did something because he saw danger for people and tried to prevent it. What was the danger since no one was assaulted? He did not meet the threshold where you charge someone. So in other words, if I were to choke David Paterson's wife like that, I shouldn't face a charge. Penny put him in a chokehold. He didn't apparently do it the right way. Because of that, Neely was struggling. Two of the passengers helped, and in the process of trying to restrain him, he lost his life, which is a terrible tragedy. By the way, this guy's blind. I mean, literally, legally blind. But they chose him not because he is blind, but because he sees white supremacy, and he bows. Call of America 484, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Okay, caller from 484 is asleep. Caller from America 424, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's up, Brother Jason? How you doing? This is Rashad from Houston by way of LA.
Okay, Rashad from Houston, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I was having a conversation of this very thing yesterday and actually today with my mother in regards to the position of HBCUs. I'm a graduate of Morehouse College. And I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and he was telling me some things that were completely not shocking, but definitely disturbing in terms of what's going on right now with the campus. There's been a lot of attention that's been put about LGBT rights and also staunch Black feminism over at Spelman College, and all this is overshadowing what's going on right now with reparations. These HBCUs being these incubators that are supposed to produce Black folks that stand up for the rest of us and push agendas that are supposed to be for us. But if we can be for real, and I was telling them this, even when I was there, when we were there, because I was there in the early 2000s, and I was there from the late 90s, early 2000s. I was there, and that culture has always existed, where there's been this divisiveness, this dichotomy
Well, like I say, I mean, that's all part of the plan. What they're showing us all is why they keep fighting to get funding, because that type of funding ensures they won't do anything substantive for black people and actually stand against it. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. One more thing I do want to show you here. Once again, from the New York Post, showing their right-wing, white supremacist, anti-black bona fides. Fundraiser for ex-Marine Daniel Penny nears $2 million. As attorneys say, subway chokehold case, quote, struck a chord with the public. They're letting you know that this is a race war. One more thing, they're trying to clean up his image now. Look at the New York Post. Who is Daniel Penny? A headline that I showed you all we couldn't find. When they finally did announce his name, y'all noticed when you typed into Google, who is Daniel Penny, was one little old article, I think, from the New York from Newsweek. Everything else was who. I typed in who is Daniel Penny, and Google brought back who is Jordan Neely. It brought back a bunch of articles saying who is Jordan Neely. But you take a look at this headline here. This was calibrated for Google. Who is Daniel Penny? The New York Post wants to make sure that if anybody Googles who is Daniel Penny going from here on in, they're going to tell you who it is. Who is Daniel Penny? Here's what I want you to show you, because when you take a look over here, it says something different. You take a look at that. Who is Daniel Penny? Daniel Penny, the Marine, facing a manslaughter charge in the subway chokehold killing of Jordan Neely, quote, is being railroaded. Outraged friends and families told the Post Sunday. He's being railroaded. Amazing. Take a look down here. Relatives and pals painted a picture of a calm and inclusive soul who grew up in a middle-class military family on Long Island, far from being a son of privilege, as his attackers have described him. Now, this is the New York Post using the word attackers. This isn't the family saying they're attackers. This is the New York Post saying his attackers. So in other words, if you dare to think critically for yourself, you're an attacker. Caller from area code 609, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Emmanuel from Atlantic City, New Jersey.
All right, Emmanuel from Atlantic City, what's on your mind?
I agree with everything that you're saying, but the one thing that I wanted to dispute is just like, why aren't we suing these people in their court of law to show them that they basically are hypocrites?
Okay, well, I'm not really sure what you're saying they should be sued for exactly.
I'm into class action lawsuits, so honestly, it's just like I don't feel these people could sit there and like hold their opinion in the court of law.
Yeah, I don't think this qualifies for a class action. Thank you very much for giving us a call here. And I don't think you can really do class action against the federal. Hell, you can't really do anything against the federal government, actually. I don't think you can do that there. Thank you to everybody who has supported tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat, Venmo. Thank you very much here to Trini Girl to the Bone. We appreciate you, Jason. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you very much for your support tonight. We appreciate that. Let me get a few more phone calls here. Let me get caller from area code 562. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello?
Yes, you're on live.
Hey,
what is your name? Where you calling from?
What's up, man? This is Orlando. I talked to you before. Man, I had some friends of mine was telling me basically like whatever that guy did was a martial arts move that they know that shouldn't have been applied more than a few seconds. And the fact that this guy is military, he knew what he was doing. I don't care what anyone says. Also, for reparations, if people didn't trip off of the Italians that got theirs for lynchings that happened to them, why are they tripping off of us now? Anyone that has been wronged by this country should receive reparations. Black people have been owed that more and longer than anyone. So, yeah, I just land my plane right now. Peace, man.
Thanks you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 626. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yo, you can hear me? It's good on speakerphone?
Yes, sir. What is your name? Where are you calling from?
Okay, perfect. My name is Seva. Cats can find me, you know what I'm saying, at CVR, the $CVR, the Bard One. I'm a journalist.
Folks, don't do that. Caller from area code 323. Folks, don't call in dropping a bunch of unsolicited markers, usernames. We can find you on my phone at area code 626. That's where we can find you. Caller from area code 323. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good evening, Big Brother Jason. This is Brother Elijah calling out of Brooklyn, New York.
All right, Brother Elijah out of Brooklyn. What's on your mind?
Hey, good evening, Big Brother. Excellent broadcast you did tonight and last night. I got a question and I got a statement pertaining to tonight's topic, Big Brother. All right. The first statement with that Negro that you just showed up, Governor One-Eyed Patterson. Even years ago, Dr. Khalid Muhammad criticized that man and everything like that when he was a low-level politician back then, because he went up against Dr. Khalid, saying Dr. Khalid was violent and everything like that. And he did so much when he became the governor to kiss them white people's behind. He gave all them white people positions. He never gave black people anything. The biggest thing he ever did was give that brother John White a pardon for him shooting those white supremacists on his property that Professor Black
when he never should have been charged in the first place. So Daniel Penny is good for sneaking up behind someone. White supremacy is not an exercise in courage. Daniel Penny, a trained Marine, is courageous for sneaking up like a snake behind a 98-pound soaking wet mentally handicapped individual. That makes you a hero among white supremacists. So the reason that they can never beat us straight up is because their idea of courage isn't anything we call courageous. But as far as former Governor Patterson is concerned, first of all, he's blind. And he's telling you that this guy's chokehold, it was legal. Sir, you're blind. I hate to tell you this here, but I hate to make a point of it, but you're blind. What was the evidence you saw? I want to find out what the evidence was you saw, because if you've been getting disability for being blind all this damn time and you really can't see, we need to get our money back.
Yes, sir.
I want to find out on what basis are you making the judgment. I saw the video and I have seen the evidence myself. I've watched the evidence, and in my opinion, that was just it was legal. It was just and first of all, what the hell is improperly applied? What the hell does that mean? What the hell does that mean? What does that even mean to say something like that? He didn't do it the right way. What the hell is the right way to apply a damn chokehold? And by the way, tell me, what was your observation, Governor Patterson, that led you to this conclusion that it was not done the right way? What did you see? Y'all remember that Gene Wilder, Richard Pryor, Gene Wilder movies, Hear No Evil, See No Evil?
Yeah, Hear No Evil, See No Evil. Yes, sir.
Yeah, remember what the cop said? Don't tell me you didn't see it because he heard it. And don't tell me you didn't hear it because he saw it.
Yes, sir.
That's basically where we at now. White supremacy has become a damn stand-up comedy skit. The problem is we ain't laughing. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller mirror code 770. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Vex with a V calling from Toronto.
All right, Vex from Toronto. What's on your mind?
I'm thinking of one of that silly coon from the north in Chicago. He ought to be informed that you have countries all over the world getting reparations from the United States for environmental factors actually before the damage even occurs, preemptive reparations. So let him marinate on that, pertaining to the gentleman who was killed in New York and the killer. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it wasn't that long ago, maybe about 9 years, where Eric Gardner was killed by Pantaleo?
Oh, yes.
And he applied
New York is where they lynch.
And he did it, stayed on 15 minutes. Also, let's not forget George Floyd. In that case, his neck was compressed for, 9 minutes, 29 seconds, something along there. So
Over
how in the
8
hell do
minutes.
you think you can deprive somebody of blood flow to their brain and oxygen to their brain for 15 minutes and it doesn't result in fatality?
Because we're white, and we say so.
I understand.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Yes. How the hell? Whoa, I'm white and I say so defies the laws of physics. I'm white and I say so defies the laws of physics. Whatever you think, whatever you believe, does not trump I'm white and I say so. Up is down, down is up, wet is dry, dry is wet, cold is hot. It's whatever we want it to be when we say it. Oh, you Negroes with your teen pregnancy, you're not fit to be in office. You can't. Your children are all pregnant. Sarah Palin's daughter gets knocked up. That shouldn't be an issue. You know, I mean, that's the common today. I mean, it's just what it is. Folks have always had children as teenagers, really. You Marion Barry, you hitting the damn pipe. You can't be elected off. You hitting the pipe. Joe Biden's son, hey, party over here. Call America 415. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Do an answer show that are wonderful like yours, but not do.
Okay. Negro, are you really listening to the first hour of the program? He's listening to the second half hour of the program 2 hours later. Okay. Y'all thought your internet connection was slow. Like, hold on, Marcel is on. Brother, that's been a minute. Really? I missed it. Let me get caller from area code 647. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, my name is Grace. I'm from Brampton.
Okay, you say your name is Grace?
Yes, from Brampton.
Okay, Grace from Brampton, and what's on your mind?
So I just wanted to talk about that Chicago coon. Notice how whenever a Black person does something bad, like all Black people have to be responsible for it. But when white people do it, it's just that one individual. Like we treat white folks like individuals, but we treat Black people like collective people. Like all Black people have to be responsible for what that one Black person did.
Yeah, because it's about indicting us. As Ice-T said, we're all one big nigga. Now, white people are individuals.
Yeah.
No, that's why they're pushing back against us so hard, because, Daniel, when you say white supremacy, you are indicting it as a group. You're indicting it as a group. And they're like, hey, you can't do that. We see what you're doing. You're trying to indict as a group. Well, yeah, but that's what the hell y'all do. You indict us as a group. We're indicted as a whole people. You're charged as a community. But we're not supposed to do the same thing with them.
Yeah, if you accuse them of being white supremacists or racist, they get very defensive. But then they have no problem accusing us of being criminals and thugs and gangbangers. Like, I remember there was that actor, I think his name was Liam Neeson. I think one of his friends got raped by a Black guy, and then he wanted to murder an innocent Black man that had nothing to do with it, all because he was Black.
Yeah, for us, we don't sit up here and talk about going after innocent folk. We're like, hey, where's the damn killer at? Where he at? Which jail you got him in? We trying to find him. We pulling up at his house. No, I ain't going down the damn block to your neighbors. I'm coming up to your door. I'm bringing it to your mailbox. I'm bringing it to your driveway. But then again, we're not cowardly. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. That's anathema to us. That's anathema to us. I'm not going after no kinfolk. I'm not going down the block. I'm not going over here around Easter Island. No, I'm bringing it right down your avenue. We bringing it right up your doorstep. What DMX say? Service with a smile. Knock, knock, open up the door. It's real. We out here. These folk here, well, let me see if we can go catch some little 5-year-old somewhere. See, that passes as valor among white supremacists. Among white supremacists, that's courage. That's valor. That's their code of conduct. You can be a hero among white supremacists for killing children. White supremacists have always gotten stripes for attacking kids. Grown folk attacking children. But it tells you more about them and their disposition and character than it does anything else. They see themselves on the level of Black children. They see themselves as being peers and on the level of black children. Don't let that get by you. We're going to go ahead and wrap up tonight's program here. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we're here. If you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, you want to go there and check out our groundbreaking, best-selling documentary work, 7 a.m., Gentrified Race War, all available on DVD and streaming. Go to blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat, Venmo. Thank you very much to Tommy Felix, supporting the B1 Media, B1 Militia, B1 Agenda. Thank you very much for your support tonight. We appreciate that. R. Bailey, we must support Marcel. If we're no more than $5 monthly, we cannot afford to focus on the mission without money. And if you have the time to do the footwork, thank you very much for that as well. We appreciate that. I want to thank all of you for tuning in here live or recorded. Thank you very much for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of The Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.